Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Chainbreakers. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It is Friday, August the 16th, 2019, and this is going to be a fantastic day. Good morning, welcome, come on in, come on in. How are all my friends today? How are you? Today, we are going to be talking about fear. And I know this is a topic that a lot of people talk about, but it is not one that we can hardly talk about enough because it grips by far the very strong majority of all of us. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit today, but I want to get in and talk about where fear comes from. Sometimes fear comes from those messages that have been implanted in us as children. uh, they are fears from what we have placed now on us in our limitations. And it is stepping out of that comfort zone because of the limitations that creates the anxiety, which we frequently interpret as fear. So what we're talking about is with fear is that anxiety, it's that nervousness, it's that oppression, it's that overwhelm, it's that feeling of uncomfortableness, it's that emotion that kicks in when fear hits us. So fear can be good because in some cases fear is absolutely real. If you were standing in front of a wild lion and there was nothing there to protect you, I would be afraid. Okay, especially if he was licking his chops. But so there are good, strong reasons for fear, but at the same time, most fear that we deal with is fear that is made up in our minds. Fear, the acronym of fear, is false evidence appearing real. So let's break that down even for a second. And it's really in two parts. One, it is false evidence. It has no real strength behind it. But at some point, you can't diminish it because the last part of that is it appears real. So what we need to do is take a look at fear, and we need to be able to break it down. Sometimes we're talking about being fearless. I don't necessarily believe in being fearless because in some cases being fearless means I'm not afraid of anything. I have no fear, and you take risks well beyond what you should, jumping off of cliffs, walking out in front of traffic, all those kinds of things. That is just plain stupid because at some point you still need to protect your life. But there is still courage in facing your fear. Being courageous is really what we're talking about. But we can make ourselves more courageous by addressing what that fear is. Good morning, Shelby Kiefer. I see you on here this morning. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Jeremy. Welcome. I'm glad you're here today. And I want to thank you for joining us. So before I get any farther, I realized I went right on into the subject without taking the time to introducing today in the show. So good morning. I'm Brad Smith. I'm the host of Chainbreakers 365 Live and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise, and I want to welcome you here in today. So what is fear? Again, fear is false evidence appearing real, but it's that appearance of that reality for us that absolutely locks us in. It's that fear of appearing real that we need to be able to break down. So in facing our fear, I want you to take the emotion out of it, take the emotion away, and really dig in for a second and front or confront or break down in your mind, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid that's really going to happen? Okay, so maybe it's I don't want to let people down. I don't want to go out there. I don't want to look foolish. I don't want to fail. There's fear of failure. There is even fear of success, because the greatest fear is not that you'll look or come across as incompetent. The greatest fear is that you'll find yourself all powerful and able to accomplish anything. And in that fear is that fear of what power does, in what could actually happen, and the possibilities become so exponential that it is difficult for us to wrap our minds around, and therefore we don't even want to look that far. We don't even want to think about the possibilities because they're so huge, it's difficult for the mind to interpret. But let's talk about the fear that's confronting us, is right there in our face, right? So the fear of losing money, the fear of looking foolish, the fear of, there's the fear of the dentist, the fear of public speaking. Those are huge, right? The fear of pain. So let's break them down. If we're really talking about the fear of the dentist, for instance, we can talk about, is there possibility of pain? Maybe there is going to be some degree of fear, but there's also Novocaine, there's laughing gas, there's all sorts of stuff that the dentist frequently will give you to help either reduce or eliminate that pain. Maybe it's fear of failure. So what is the word? Let's take a look at some of these. Fear of failure, fear of public speaking, the fear just of stepping outside of our comfort zone. In that fear, what is the worst that can happen? As a teenage boy, I was always paralyzed by fear in the thought of asking a girl out. What if she says no? What if she says no? What if she says no, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm not going to end up with a date with her, which is the same place I am in right now. So maybe she'd laugh at me. You know what? I'd probably survive that. What is the fear of public speaking? The fear that we're not going to be good enough, that we're not going to make an impact, that we're going to look foolish, that we're going to... Think about those for a second. So take those fears and let's break it down. That I'm going to look foolish, that I'm going to look unprepared, that I'm not going to come across well. Practice, 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 practice. It's funny because athletes, real athletes, don't fear going out on that field. Real athletes don't fear performing. What they fear is not performing well enough, and that's why they practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. So if your fear is that public speaking, practice, 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 practice. Prepare. Be prepared for what can come. Be prepared for the worst. And if you would fail, if you wouldn't make your point, if you wouldn't do the best job possible, you will still survive. You are not going to die on that stage because of it. And when we can confront the worst possible things that can happen, fear takes away its power on us. So, and maybe all it does, it doesn't eliminate it completely, but it will at least reduce itself by you breaking down the worst things that can happen or preparing for them so that they don't. But in that preparation, at least we can reduce the fear so we're able to face it and do it scared anyway. My daughter Molly, my college-age daughter Molly, who is in theater at the University of Illinois, has frequently confronted stage fright before she walks out, frequently confronted stage fright before she auditions for the next role, frequently feared what she was trying to do next. And she created the hashtag do it scared. I see one of my friends, Lisa Copeland, has now adopted that. I don't know if there's any connection whatsoever, but Molly started doing this some time ago. And I want to always give Molly credit for do it scared. Molly will confront her fear because she goes in prepared. Go in prepared, my friends, and face your fears, break them down. Think about what can possibly happen so you are prepared for them when they do, or realize that the worst that can happen isn't going to kill you. If the worst that can happen means you won't get it, you won't be there, you won't be able to achieve it, if you don't do it, the result is the same. So fear keeps us paralyzed, but fear, and here I'm speaking some truth to some people, fear is a weapon of the enemy. Fear is a weapon that keeps you small. Fear is a weapon that keeps you grounded and unable to move forward. Fear is a weapon that has you chained and locked into an ordinary life. But you were called for more. You were called for something better. And how do I know that? Because I know that you have a dream, you have a desire, you have a goal deep inside of you that has yet to be unleashed, that has yet to be unfulfilled, that has yet to have you step into the fullness of the goal that you have in mind. And I know I'm talking to some people this morning, and if I'm talking to you, hit those likes, hit those loves at the bottom, because this is meaningful for somebody. I know I'm speaking to somebody today. I can feel it in my heart. So fear will keep you locked. Fear will keep you paralyzed. Fear will keep you from fulfilling the purpose that God has for you in your life. And if you don't want God to take away that talent that he has so generously given you, like he took away the talent of the one who buried his talent, then you must step into it and multiply. You must step into it and get a return on your talent. Your talent is God's gift to you, and your gift back to God is the utilization of the gift that he gave you. So I want to thank you all for being here this morning. I want to thank you all for being part of this. You all are a blessing to me every day, and I just hope every day when I get on here and start delivering these messages that I'm as much of a blessing back to you as you are to me. I want to thank you for being here. We will be talking about an announcement on Monday because I know a lot of you have those goals, but you don't know how to get there. And I'm hoping on Monday, I'm believing on Monday that I'm going to have that answer for many of you. So I look forward to seeing you here on Monday. If you enjoyed what you saw today, I encourage you to keep on coming back at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, right here on Chainbreakers 365 for Chainbreakers 365 Live. If you want to catch them on YouTube, you can find them there at Chainbreakers 365, or you can find it at chainbreakers365.com/videos. Again, I want to thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you Monday for Chainbreakers 365 Live. Thanks very much. I just want to tell you, I love you, my friends. Go out and have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday for Chainbreakers 365 Live. Have a great weekend. Bye now.